Good evening. My name is Mr. Youngman, up there above me, and I am delighted to be the head teacher here at Whitehaven Academy. As Mrs. Brown said, thank you for taking the time to join us. When it became clear that we'd need to be a virtual open evening, it was important for us that you were still able in some way to meet our students, albeit virtually. Now, I'd like to thank Imogen and Isaac for opening this evening live. At the Whitehaven Academy, we believe in challenging our students. And I think it would be fair to say that putting two students in front of a camera live falls squarely into that category. In fact, it's one of the privileges of this job here at Whitehaven, being able to work with wonderful students. And I have to say I am now slightly regretting letting them kick off so professionally, leaving me to make all the mistakes towards the end. The slide behind has my name, but as Isaac and Mrs. Brown have pointed out, there are many other people here helping you this evening, because we want to ask those questions. We want to answer your questions. This is a big decision, because the question is, are we right for you? As families, you want to get this right, obviously. Now, as a school, it's our responsibility to make the next 7 years of learning challenging, rewarding, and inspiring and fun. We saw the first choice treble last year, and we're delighted to see families choose to book a tour. There's a palpable buzz in our current Year 7s, and results are rising each year. The future really is promising. It's the right time to join, because certainly it's an exciting time and it's a time of growth. If we look at our staff, we have a blend of long-serving, deeply loyal staff. We have Cumbrians who are committed to the area, and in some cases ex-students who want to contribute back into their own community. And then there's offcomers like me who've seen the light and are wondering why on earth we didn't move here sooner. Cumbria Education Trust have invested strongly in the development of senior and middle leaders. Personally, I feel that I have a team of subject leaders here that rivals any that I've seen in my 26 years of teaching. They're quite inspirational. Partnership across the trust is really important and is flourishing. Working in isolation in education or anywhere is a lonely business, and we share our expertise across the trust. In fact, only this morning, the English leads were meeting to explore what was the best areas of curriculum to develop. Sometimes as a head, you have to make difficult but important decisions. And last year, it was clear that we needed to rethink our approach to sixth form. And I am now delighted with the launch of the West Coast Sixth Form in partnership with Workington Academy. And of course, for you in particular, during your first year here at Whitehaven Academy, you'd be moving in to a new build. Isaac mentioned Just Ask. Inevitably, you'll have questions. Yesterday, we've had some really helpful questions, and we're looking forward to putting them together and sharing them in frequently asked questions next week. Now, there's always a balance about presentation, and a balance that head teachers never get right. You go on and you numb your audience. At least in this case, you can quietly make a cup of tea. You keep it too short and you miss the things that you wanted to know. And so for that reason, just ask. And what I'd say, Year 6, is grab hold of the keyboard and ask the questions yourself. Don't worry about how specific it is. Don't worry whether it's the right sort of question. If it's a question in your mind, it's the right sort of question. We have the senior leadership team here, including our Senko. We've got the directors of learning. Mrs. Brown is legging it as we speak, and we have teachers from a range of subjects. So just ask. Our motto above me is nice and clear. Be the best that you can be. But still, what does that actually mean for you? It means finding your passion. It may be a passion that you already have inside you. It may be something that you didn't even know you could do. It's about being challenged. And for you, it's going to be about learning in a state-of-the-art building. It's about being surrounded by kind professionals who in turn are constantly challenging themselves to be the best that they can be. Everybody in this building is a learner. And for all of us, it's about maximising learning time, a phrase we use again and again, which basically means get in, get on, be challenged. At the heart of any curriculum, there needs to be a strong core. So if we take English, As a former head of English, obviously it's something I'm passionate about. We have here a culture that promotes reading. Books are awards in this school, writing is celebrated, reading is valued, and literature is cherished and explored. Results are improving year on year, and from accelerated reader in year 7 through to high performing A-level as part of the West Coast Sixth Form, this is a school where English, and indeed all languages, are valued. Oracy, talk. Today, 4 colleagues were involved in online training with Voice 21, a national organisation, and there's the phrase, talk is the sea upon which all learning floats. We need to empower students with confidence and a life skill. Regrettably, we've all worked with colleagues who can't communicate. We need our young people to listen. We need our young people to be confident speakers, persuasive, and to be able to structure an argument or a presentation. Finally, within that core is maths. Now, we have students who are going on to Oxbridge and Russell Group universities at Sixth Form, but for all of us, it's about making maths feel different. One example is CET holds an outdoor centre in Eskdale. So obviously, we've held revision weekends combining maths with outdoor learning. But for all of our students, we're now following the White Rose programme and buying in wholeheartedly to that philosophy that we can all do maths. STEM. Now, in the video, Dr. Graham and the students celebrated the work we do on STEM, and as a major employer in West Cumbria, it's essential we promote STEM. The facilities of the new build will make this even better. Now, what Dr. Graham was too modest to comment on is just how strong our science results are, as well as the competitions, the after-school clubs, the events, and, well, burning things in practicals. We will help you explore science and discover the beauty of the subject, alongside developing those opportunities in technology and in engineering, and, as I said before, of course, mathematics. Anybody who's from the town knows arts have a long history in this school, a fine history. And building on what Miss Gill and Mrs. Bell said, Whitehaven Academy is a place where we will help you discover your creativity and explore. The class-based learning and the extracurricular events, for me, are second to none. And I'm quietly hoping, probably not quietly anymore, to be the judge for Bake Off this year. Now, when lockdown came, it was essential to us to keep students being creative. And the Challenge programme was a roaring success, with students engaging in experiments at home, photography challenges, art projects, and creative writing, and many more. And this all came together with a learning festival. And when you find something that works, you go with it. So this year we'll be holding another learning festival in July, or rather in 2020, and we'll be inviting year 5s and year 6s to join in that, but also in challenges throughout the year. And it's not just the students, parents, grandparents, and staff have all joined in. There is a positive learning culture, a culture that we've worked hard to nurture. Now, our culture here is built around developing positive relationships, grounded in a shared value of kindness and respect. We have expectations of excellence. You deserve excellence. That's what your decision's about this evening and for the next few weeks. But we in turn expect excellence, and we will continue to raise standards. As a head teacher, I'm very proud that this is an inclusive school, but I'll also not shy away from making difficult decisions. Uniform and presentation all feed into culture, and actually, because of COVID, we've had to suspend the new uniform, so when you join in year 7, you'll be joining with a new uniform. And then finally, coming back to that word kindness, you will hear me say it more than GCSE, but please don't mistake that for a lack of ambition, because we're more likely to be successful in a kind, supportive environment. If we feel we're surrounded by kindness and we're comfortable, we're more likely to take risks and to push ourselves. Our students, many of our students, achieve now the highest grades. Our performers and teams have performed and competed at the highest level. Our students have gone on to Russell Group universities, and last year our Year 7 boys were absolutely gutted not to play in the quarter-finals in the National Rugby League Cup. They're desperate to get to Wembley, and we want to get them there. Amongst all of that, it's important to recognise we all have different needs. We all enter school with different skills, with different levels of readiness and different gaps in our learning. We've expanded our SEN team to ensure we meet those needs, and there is much to celebrate in our SEN team. And as I mentioned, Mrs. Kinraid is online now, so please do ask any questions or ask for a tour. Alongside that, we also recognise that many students just aren't quite secondary ready. And so I'm very proud of the T-Band, another example of us working with CET, following work that happens at Workington and at William Howard. We have students working in a primary environment, supporting them in the shift before they go on to fully immerse into the mainstream. Student voice is hugely important. I'm looking forward to welcoming our student council. We have a group of prefects who we're keen to deploy amongst the school once we can all mix together. We had students involved in selecting uniform, approaches to remote learning, approaches to behaviour, but also it's important for me as a head and for all of us as staff to listen to parents through coffee morning, through parent forum, through email, and from finding out about things that we don't know. So, for example, seeing there is a completely unacceptable gap in the issue of transport and stepping in. It's about having a meaningful conversation about learning. We can only have an excellent school if we have excellent teaching. And that comes back, as I said before, about us all learning together. We're all learners. Any teacher, any member of staff who feels they've got nothing to learn needs to leave teaching. We're part of Ambition Leadership, we're part of Teach First, we work with West Cumbria Teaching Alliance, we tap into, as I said, Voice 21, different organisations, so that we can learn and develop. And then coming back to the Learning Festival, an important thing to point out is while the students are embracing these challenges, it's important that you know what staff are doing in training in readiness for the following year. The new build, as I sit here, look out the window, it's like being a 7-year-old boy. I can see a row of diggers and it's fantastic. And it's important for me to take this opportunity to say thank you to this community. The people of Whitehaven have campaigned for years for this school. Whitehaven has deserved this school for years. And frankly, I feel like a bit of a goal hanger, ready to benefit from the work of many others, including the CET. You are getting, finally, what you richly deserve. Now, the delay was due in part to COVID, but it was also due to securing a larger sports hall. Again, making sure that we can give students the best. Imogen, by the way, was right. I was gutted to miss the chimney being knocked down. We have here incredible grounds. We will have a theatre, we will have sporting facilities, we will have state-of-the-art materials in the classroom, but for us, it's about not waiting till the new build. So behind me, you can see one of the screens that we've got in every single one of the classrooms, because if we're going to embrace and get the most out of the building, we need to be learning about it now. We need to be ready. It comes back to us all learning, because spring 2022 isn't far away. And hopefully for some of you watching, for many of you watching, it will mean that you're in a build and we're all ready to make the most from it. This school needs to constantly focus on our students and their outcomes. That's what we have to do as part of making you a fully rounded, successful student. We're one of the most improved schools in Cumbria, and we're meeting national expectations across a increasing range of subjects. More and more students are getting high grades, and my background, without going on about it too much, that's what I do, that's what I love, that's what excites me. It's helping young people get the best. And behind you, you've got a range of different ways that we'll work with you to help you be the best that you can be. Because what we want you to do is basically leave this school with a smile on your face and cherish and remember the times you had with us. So let's bring it back to the students. Last year, we had 111 students in the school for open evening, and we can't get you to meet those in quite the way that you would. So what I'm going to do is conclude with a film that some of you may well have seen on social media, and this concludes the formal part of the evening. if it could be formal while you're having a cup of tea watching me. But I'd like you perhaps to listen to some of those students, but particularly keep asking those questions, because the staff are here, and whilst the film finishes, staff will still be there answering questions. So I'll say thank you for your time. I'll now load up the final film, and I wish you a very good evening, and it's a pleasant one too. So thank you very much.